Good evening, everybody. My name is Tanisha.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lou.
And we're here with the Hillsborough County Public Library. And this evening, we are going to celebrate the Lunar New Year. So we got a really awesome program here for you. So let's go ahead and jump in. And before we get started here, I am just going to turn off my camera so you can get that nice full screen there. So before we jump into our content and we ask some fun questions, just a quick note, as we always do with our Celebrations Around the World programs, we do recognize that a lot of the programs that we celebrate and that we talk about have some religious views. They have some religious things associated with them. And of course, we like to, value everybody's opinion and everybody's beliefs. But what we are talking about here this evening are the cultural traditions that surround the program. So we invite everybody to have fun. We invite everybody to enjoy, but we just wanted you guys to keep that in the back of your head as we are talking about these fun celebrations and holidays that we have in store for you. So before I pass things off to Lou, I have one question to ask you, and there'll be some fun trivia later, but I am going to ask the audience if you guys will be celebrating the Lunar New Year this year. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that poll up for you. Let's see who's going to be celebrating the Lunar New Year. So let's see who will be taking part in the Lunar New Year. So it looks like we have some people who will be celebrating, and we have a few that don't. Well, for you, those that are celebrating, we hope that you have a lovely celebration. For those who don't, maybe you'll think about incorporating some of these traditions into your family, or maybe you'll just, you'll learn something really cool about some really awesome traditions that are around the world.
Thank you, Tanisha. Okay, so when and where is the Lunar New Year celebrated? The Lunar New Year is celebrated in several East and South Asian countries, including Japan, South Korea, Mongolia, India, and Nepal. It's mostly closely associated with the Chinese New Year, with China hosting the most well-known and elaborate celebrations. The Lunar New Year is based on the lunisolar calendar, which uses moon phases and the time of the solar year. The new year begins on the second new moon after the winter solstice. In 2021, Lunar New Year celebrations will begin on February 12th, which is next Friday, and this year will be the year of the ox. Okay, so where did Lunar New Year come from? Well, the legend of the Nian is a mythological beast that lived under the sea or in the mountains, which would come out of hiding at the beginning of the new year for its annual feeding. Unfortunately, though, ancient Chinese crops and the villagers who grew them were the Nian snack of choice. The villagers needed to find a way to keep their nefarious beasts at bay. They soon found out that the Nian was afraid of the color red, loud noises, and fire. With this knowledge, the villagers began to decorate their homes with red lanterns, set off fireworks, and left food at their doorstep to keep the Nian away. This superstition eventually evolved into an annual tradition to mark the new year. All right, Lunar New Year observations and celebrations. Lunar New Year celebrations typically last for about 15 days, and here are some of the highlights. So the first being the New Year's Eve. The main event is typically a reunion dinner where extended family gather for a large feast. Celebrations also include fireworks, temple visits, and large parties. The first day in which family and elders are honored with visits. There are fireworks and displays, and there is also no sweeping. Brooms are considered bad luck on New Year's Day. The fifth day, businesses traditionally reopen after a long holiday. Some businesses set off fireworks for good luck, and workers return to their jobs after a week-long break. The 15th day, which is the last day, is a lantern festival. Red, elaborate lanterns are brought out of brought out at nightfall with children carrying lanterns with riddles and adults carrying lanterns with their symbolic baggage. The lanterns symbolize letting go of the past. Okay, so here are a couple of words. The Lunar New Year glossary. Buddha's Delight. It's a vegetarian dish served on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. It typically includes about or at least 10 ingredients. Hongbao is red envelopes of money given from elders or parents to children or young adults. Mandarin oranges, which might be a little tiny orange, popular in South China, is a fruit typically associated with good luck. Nian, or New Year, the name is derived from the mythical beasts of ancient Chinese legend. Okay, and Niango is a pudding made of glutinous rice flour, wheat starch, salt, water, and sugar. And the color red, the most popular color of New Year, symbolizes good luck, fortune, happiness, and abundance.
All right, Lou, thank you so much for all of that wonderful information. It seems like the Lunar New Year is a lot of fun. Also, I know I encouraged you all to drop any questions you may have about the Lunar New Year into the question section. Also, since we do have some people joining us this evening who do celebrate the Lunar New Year, if you want to drop in the question section what country of origin you are maybe from, or your heritage is from, and how you will be celebrating the Lunar New Year, please go ahead and drop that in there too. We always love to hear from our audience about how they celebrate the holidays that we are talking about. So before we jump into our Learn More page, I also have some trivia for you guys, as we like to do with our celebrations around the world. So let's go ahead and do some of that. So let me ask our first question. So the first question I have for you all is, what day will the Lunar New Year start in this year, in 2021? So I'll give you guys a few seconds to vote. All right, let's see how everybody did. All right, good job, everybody. So we got 100% right answer. Yes, this year, the New Year will be starting on February 12th, and that will usher in the year of the ox. All right, so let's go ahead and ask our next question. How many days do Lunar New Year celebrations last? So let's see how we do on this one. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so the answer I have is, this is kind of a split one. So the answer I have is 15, but we also recognize that there are a whole bunch of other countries besides in China, their celebrations can last for 15 days, but there are a bunch of other countries out there who do celebrate the Lunar New Year, so their celebrations may last 7. So kind of everybody was kind of right there. So I would say in this one, everybody got the correct answer. So good job, everybody. All right, and let's go ahead and do my last trivia question of the evening. And before I launch it again, because we do have some people or anybody interesting, who have any questions, or those who are celebrating the Lunar New Year, please go ahead and drop in that question section how you will be celebrating the Lunar New Year, or any questions that you may have about this wonderful holiday. So let me go ahead and ask the last trivia question. So what does the color red symbolize for the Lunar New Year? So everybody was correct. Yes, this one is correct. All of the above. So the color red symbolizes good luck, fortune, and happiness. So it is a very symbolic color for the Lunar New Year. It's one of my favorite colors. So it is a color that is great for all these things. And we are going to, of course, we like to give a resource or a book shout out whenever we do any of our programs. If you would like to learn more about the Lunar New Year or any of the other holidays that we celebrate here on our Celebrations Around the World series, here are some of the resources that we have available. World Book Encyclopedia, it is wonderful for learning a little bit more about these holidays. It's one of the resources that I used when putting together this program. Also, two of our ebook or movie or audiobook resources, Libby by Overdrive and Hoopla. So you can also find a lot of wonderful resources there as well to learn a little bit more about the new year. So Lou, let's see if we have any questions. I'll go ahead and look that up here. While I'm looking at questions, Lou, what do you think your favorite part of the Lunar New Year would be?
I think my favorite part of Lunar New Year is fireworks. I love fireworks.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Any holiday where you can set off some fireworks, I'm in for it. And also, one of the fun parts that we do whenever we do our celebrations around the world is all of the different food. Because you can't go wrong with food. All of these holidays have some wonderful food. So we got some lovely comments there. We got some thank yous coming through. So you're welcome. You're very, very welcome. This is always, these are one of the more fun ones to do here. Let's see, any other questions there? We have somebody asking, oh, this is a good question. Referring to that, let me go back to that slide, referring to the soup that we featured earlier, somebody is asking, what are the ingredients in the soup?
The ingredients in the soup.
Yes. So Buddha's delight.
Well,
What
I feel like it's like a family dish, and so it's like whatever your family traditionally puts into a Buddha's delight.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking it up. It really depends. It was kind of like a stone soup, you know, where it's like they just brought everything like, oh, it's definitely vegetarian. So the one thing that wouldn't be in there is meat. But they brought in like whatever, you know, whatever they had. So whether it be like onions, whether it be this, whether it be that, that they were definitely bringing in those things. They were bringing in like whatever they had on hand there. Let's see if we have any other questions. So we have somebody asking, is the Lunar New Year, we often hear of it celebrated as the Chinese New Year. So is that holiday only celebrated really in China?
No, it's celebrated in multiple countries throughout the year because it's based off of the lunar phases, and it's the second full moon of the winter solstice. So other countries that celebrate the Lunar New Year are Japan, South Korea, Mongolia, India, and Nepal.
Yes, and I brought up that slide there. So that is something that I learned too, because I had always, you know, growing up had it heard, you know, I was phrased to me as a Chinese New Year. So it was something very fun when we were working on the research for this to recognize how many other countries. And one I forgot to put in there, there's a sizable population, and I believe the Philippines that also celebrate it too. They celebrate the Lunar New Year as well. So all of these different countries around the world that partake in these lovely traditions. So Lou, here we got a few more minutes, so let me go ahead and get to our last slide here so we can go ahead and wrap things up. As always, thank you guys for those lovely questions. As always, we wrap everything up with our contact information. So you can contact us by phone, email, text message, carrier pigeon, however you can think of to contact us, and chat, however you would like to contact us. We have it there. So there's our contact link there. And of course, our link for our other library program and events. We have some wonderful events lined up for you. This month, as a lot of you are aware, is also Black History Month. So we have a huge amount of offerings for Black History Month for young ones all the way up to adults. So we have like a Black History Month story time, and we have some really awesome you know, genealogical and like African Americans in the West, the wonderful programs about the contributions of African Americans in the Western frontier. So we have a bunch of wonderful excuse me, have a bunch of wonderful programs for you. That link has just been dropped in the chat section. So if you are interested in attending some of our Black History Month events, definitely be sure to click on that link before we go. And right before we go, I would want to extend my huge amount of gratitude to Lou here for joining me here this evening. Thank you so much. It's always nice to have another friendly face for our celebrations programs, or any of our programs for that matter. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. So thank you guys again for joining. For those of you that are celebrating the Lunar New Year, we hope that you have a lovely celebration. Happy New Year. Hope that you guys have a wonderful celebration. And thanks, you guys. And we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.